Good evening, everyone. I'm your host, Jason Myles, and welcome to another episode of This is Revolution Podcast. If you are a returning listener or subscriber, welcome back. So glad to have you here again. This should be a doozy. So much of a doozy. I'm opening up the phone lines. Oh, yeah. You're not alone this evening on TIR. If you're a new listener, welcome. Also glad to have you here. If you do like what we do here on TIR, please don't forget to give the show a like and maybe even a subscribe on your way out. Before we get started, just want to remind you guys, if you haven't done it, I hope June 8th is in your calendar, because Pascal and I are going to be in Washington, D.C. That's right. Beyond the Black Jacobin, CLR James and the Struggle for Socialism in America, Adolph Reed, the Pascal Robert, Daniel Tutt, Vanessa Willis, C. Derek Varn, as Toussaint calls him, my stunt double, Billy Bunton. But why did the stunt double get top billing over me?
We're coming for you.
Whoa. Maybe not. We're all friends here. All friends. It's all love. But wherever you are watching or listening to the show, there are tickets. There's a link to tickets in the description of this show. And if you cannot make it to DC, that's fine. The show will be live streamed. You can get tickets to watch the live stream as well. That being said, let's bring in the TIR crew. He is my co-host, my homie, my dog. You'll see him in DC. The Pascal Robert.
Peace and greetings to the chat. Peace and greetings to the audience. Peace and greetings, Jason Myles.
Are you ready for a depressing show tonight?
I don't think it has to be too depressing. We can make it lively.
I like your attitude, Robert. I like your attitude. Some people call her the voice of reason. Some people call her the Eeyore of the show. Please welcome M. Toussaint.
The Eeyore of the show, my high school nickname following me.
I made that.
High school nickname was ER.
Eeyore.
Your high school.
In some circles, briefly, yes, it was.
Why? Was that because you used to cut people up?
Oh.
Wow.
Eeyore is the sad donkey on Winnie the Pooh.
I'm not familiar with such childlike cultural references.
You didn't wow. The Pascal just told everybody why he's lonely. He wasn't allowed to laugh as a child. His Haitian parents beat the joy right out of him.
No cartoons for you.
I mean, that was Flintstones, Warner Brothers, Winnie the Pooh. Winnie the Pooh.
His parents just acted out the cartoon in front. They just had a flip book. You want cartoons? Damn, if you wasn't allowed to watch Disney cartoons.
I'm sorry, I could have watched Disney cartoons. They weren't Disney cartoons at that time.
They were Disney cartoons at the time, yeah. Disney.
The Pooh?
Yeah, you're not old enough to remember fucking
Winnie the
the
Pooh wasn't a
Brothers
Disney
Grimm
property.
fairy tales.
Winnie the Pooh wasn't a Disney property in the 70s and the early 80s.
Yes, it was.
You sure?
Oh, yeah.
It's Winnie the Pooh and Charlie Brown that are the sad children's cartoons.
Pascal, man, I'm so sorry that them people wouldn't let you.
I didn't like Winnie the Pooh. I like Charlie Brown. I wasn't that into Winnie the Pooh. I did not know that Winnie the Pooh was a Disney.
Pascal is over here like Oprah in Color Purple. Every time you want to laugh, have it beat out you.
I did like Justice League. That was pretty good.
He had to sneak and go watch that at his white friend's house. It was like getting his freedom papers. Pascal, you're right. This is going to be a little lighter than I thought. I was all ready to read this very somber introduction that I wrote. But now I can't because all I see is you not watching Winnie the Pooh as a child. Did you at least watch the Jackson 5 cartoon?
Love the Jackson 5 cartoon.
Well, at least they let him watch the Jackson 5 cartoon. That's a plus.
At least.
What if it was only black cartoons that Pascal could watch? So it was like the Jackson 5 cartoon and Fat Albert.
Used to watch Fat Albert as well.
And just the crows. Just those two crows.
Oh, God.
I be done seen about everything.
From the Tom and Jerry cartoon. Magpie Packs. Tom and Jerry.
That's it. That's all he could watch. Dr. Claus says Dumbo. No, wasn't there two crows on Tom and Jerry or one of those Warner Brothers things too, Tucson?
I only remember Dumbo.
It's just the Dumbo crows.
The racist ass Jim Crows.
My younger brother had that VHS cassette of Song of the South.
Jesus. Did you say, I'm going to take this away from you, son?
I just, because he, his mom would get him, they would sell them at the grocery store. And his mom worked at a grocery store when we were kids. And he would have them, and it would be the one thing that would keep him quiet. Before people had devices, there was VCRs.
That's
and
true.
She didn't, she was pretty conscious, actually. I don't think she really thought anything of it. But if he has it still, I forgot to tell him last time I saw him, that's worth tons of money because Disney pulled it off the shelves decades ago.
I wonder why.
It's really interesting that whole industry started off like kind of racist.
Kind of.
Oof.
Black people, Japanese people.
Oof. Mexicans.
People in general.
Speedy Gonzalez.
Jeez.
Even Bugs Bunny.
Oh yeah, all of it filled with tropes. What a time to be alive.
Tom and Jerry had lots of racist tropes.
Pascal and Toussaint, it's funny. All the millennials and Gen Z that watch the show, like, we have no idea what you're talking about.
No, they're like, you've heard our grandparents talk about this before.
Yeah, they're like, we grew up with HR as entertainment.
Captain Planet, multiracial teams.
Oh, dude. Once they started having multiracial teens, it was just, turn the TV off. Just turn the TV off.
Wind, water.
Is that actually a joke?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's being totally serious. Slowpoke Rodriguez. Oh, Hong Kong Fooey. Sean Moon says, yeah. Tons of
Hong Kong food.
and we just sing those racist carols. We just Jim says Captain Planet was racist, gave heart power to the Indian guy. Look, and dude, kids, like, there's kids that have grown up less than video games, cartoons. They had TV shows. We didn't have kid-centered TV shows, and like my daughter's generation and even my son's, they grew up in the era of like kid-friendly sitcoms that came on during the day. So even crazier. But let's switch gears a little bit. I was all prepared to just slide right in.
So she said.
Damn it.
Good one.
I'm just fucking up all over the place. The commodification of loneliness. Loneliness and isolation are hot commodities in this current digital age. The disconnection is fertile ground to mine profits off our despair. We have more entertainment options than ever before. We can instantly satiate any needs we have instantly with an app. Need to get somewhere and don't want to drive or bother with public transportation? Well, there's an app for that. Are you hungry and don't want to bother with late night drive-through? There's an app for that. Tired of that awkwardness when trying to talk to someone you'd like to ask out in real life? Saying the wrong thing can take you from shy and gawky to sex pest and 0 to 60. Well, there's an app for that too. Is this innovation, or are we captured by the new millennium lords of internet capital? In her recent Substack column, Kathleen Liu writes, "The fact of the matter, however, is that in interpersonal matters, we have been gradually de-skilled, deboned, and undone by an economic system that creates and then feeds on our isolation. Have we been socialized by social media interaction? As Catherine Liu puts it, social relations deteriorate because the demand for conformity, the impersonal like button, replaces actual dialogue. Low-key agreement is what is offered and expected. Are we living in the science fiction dystopia where social media capitalism is creating creatures that lust for human interaction, yet can't turn away from the screen? Panel, I ask you, what's going on with the commodification of loneliness? I'm going to open up the phone lines. So Pascal and Toussaint, you guys be entertaining while I do that.
Toussaint,
Monsieur Lavoisier.
what is this Monsieur Lavoisier? Is that like a character from like a Haitian 007 movie that your parents used to watch as a child?
He was a French aristocrat during the time of the French Revolution. I believe he discovered oxygen.
Wow. I'm honored, I guess. I don't know if he's French. I can't empathize too much with the French. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So we're going to be talking about loneliness today.
That's right. The commodification of loneliness.
It's funny because technology makes this so normalized that I don't even think people realize that there's a problem with it.
It's normalized and easy.
It's true because there's always an algorithm collecting data on these pieces of information.
It's true. I mean, I went on my Uber app to sort of play around with the Uber Eats and having food delivered, but the algorithm had already chosen a restaurant for me nearby.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I was like, it's a little, but it removes, any need to talk to people, even reading reviews.
Yeah.
It's very easy, just me and the app.
Well, the number is up on the screen. Area code 510-319-1899. That is area code 510-319-1899. Phone lines are open. Let us know how you guys feel about this. I will ask this first question to the panel and to the audience, people that would like to call in. What role do dating apps and friendship apps play in the commodification of loneliness? There is, Pascal, friendship apps.
I read about that.
Is this a good thing?
I don't think it's a good thing at all because I don't think that socialization, the normative method of human socialization, is meant to be digitized. I mean, I think, yes, I understand that people are compatible. Human beings can adapt and things of that nature. But I do believe that there are certain ways in which adaptability to interaction fit within the Homo sapien human framework that should not necessarily be vanquished and digitized and moved to computerized spaces.
Toussaint?
But what if it works? What if it works? What if you plug in your information, all the things you want and need in a friend, and it gives you, I don't know, Paul McComb? What if it works out? Afterwards,
That's how Pascal and
somebody,
Paul met. He
Pascal and
types
Paul,
in 6-foot Haitian man.
must be
Professor
based.
type.
Just
You
because.
know,
Go ahead.
did you ever meet? We're all old enough to have lived in a world before meeting people in chat rooms and online spaces. We're old enough before we ranked our friends in the top 10 of MySpace, as someone put so eloquently. I remember seeing people, like, if you had clothes on that kind of looked like, oh, maybe we would hang in the same place. I remember people that happened to me. Someone was like, dude, I love your shirt. Where are you going? Oh, I'm going to Berkeley. Oh, dude, me too. And we would just hang out and then we'd be friends. I don't know. Maybe the Bay Area is nicer than New York. I feel like you guys were always fighting each other. But
Watch yourself,
see,
Mr. Myles.
that's the New York. And that's the hey, I'm walking over here.
Walking here.
That was how I still meet people to this day. You know, so many people, like, you have a band shirt on or something, like, oh, dude, you like those? Dude, I like those dudes too. Oh, where are you going? And you just fucking hang out. I told you that story about how I got stuck at that serial killer's house because someone was like, oh, dude, you have Vans on. Do you skateboard? I was like, no. We got into a conversation and we hung out. I mean, it was dangerous, but
That is such a Jason story.
that is. It is.
Jason strikes me as he will talk to anyone who's willing to listen to him.
There you go. Oh, you use best toothpaste? I do too. Let's be friends. Would you like to be the best man at my wedding? Sure. Sure, Ben Burgess. Sure.
What? You're having marital problems? Just move down to Mexico, brother. You're good, dude. You don't have any friends here? We'll make new ones for you.
We'll live next door to each other.
Look at that. And
All
a
because
sitcom
depressed.
is born. Right? Bam. Depression gone. But there's something to be said about meeting people organically and not having, like, there's the other, we call him the other black guy in Mexico. He's a little younger. He's in his mid-30s. Very different politics. He grew up actually in South Florida, so we have different kind of upbringings. He's a bit of a libertarian, but we hang out all the time. Have a great time. I would never type that into a search. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Meeting people organically over something, like we were watching football at a bar that we go to and having a ball and talking sports. And sometimes we talk politics. Sometimes we disagree, but we have a ball.
Someone said you live in a passport bro Negro community.
Two black guys is a passport, bro. I'll say this though. For a lot of people, meeting people organically changes radically after they leave school.
Yes.
Yes.
Very easy to make
the
friends.
older you get, the more distant you become from your educational experiences, the harder it becomes to make those friends.
That's right.
Can I ask you guys on the screen a question?
Mm-hmm.
And Pascal didn't make it out to the Sublation party. Is it easier for you to meet people at, like, our events, Toussaint? Do you feel a little more comfortable?
Well, I feel like at our events, you have two things going on.
Mhm.
Like you have people that you could probably talk about the same TV shows with,
Mhm.
but also you have people that you would probably politically align with.
Mhm.
So it's two things. And that makes it like shooting fish in a barrel. Very easy.
So do
Very
you
easy.
enjoy that?
Yeah, it was very easy for me to talk to Strom. He's a character.
Strom is a character. And shout out to Strom for the super chat. Pascal, do you see what Strom said about you?
I saw
That's not
Strong in the
Strom.
house.
He said, glad to see the scowl. Thank you very much, Strom McCallum. But, we did a show about dating apps about a couple months ago.
Hmm.
And this is very similar to that. There's something to be said about these apps and loneliness, right? The need to scroll, the fear of saying the wrong thing. Have you guys experienced phishing texts?
I got one recently.
Is that who called you the other night? Is that why you missed movie night?
No, I've never responded to those things, but I've got. Sometimes I think it's a business, like some type of business thing or something like that. But out the blue, someone was like, "Hey, have you talked to Annie lately? Should you give her a call?" I'm like, "Who is this?"
Mm-mm, mm-mm, mm-mm.
Annie, are you okay? Are you okay, Annie? Would it kill you to contact Annie?
I don't respond to any of those kind of obscure texts or attempts to reach out because I always look at them as some kind of scam to try to, abscond money.
There is a rise in phishing texts that read, "Hey, long time no see. Are you going to the party?" They are designed to engage with the loner longing for any kind of social engagement. Those things, they are dangerous. Catherine Lou writes about it. I don't know if you guys read the story where a woman got taken for like $1 million. Yeah, on one of these. They're looking for people that have money, so you can go, oh, where's the party? We're all going to chip in for booze.
Send us $500.
Send us a few $100. Yeah. And there's different kinds of scams. There's the love scam where they'll send you a picture. Have you got the ones where they send a picture with it, Pascal?
No, never got that.
Tucson, have you got the picture ones?
Mm-mm.
I'm the only lucky one.
You're lucky in many ways, sir.
You on those weirdo ass dating apps, man.
I have not been on a dating app in over 2 years.
Allegedly.
That dating app, you got dating app residue in your phone.
That may be true. That part could be 100% correct. Because when I was on dating apps, I was getting a lot more of the phishing texts, and I would even get ones with pictures. And it'd be like, why aren't you at the gym? And it'd be like some attractive woman at the gym. And I was like, there's no way in the world you're real. Because at first I would fall for them. I'd be like, wait a minute. Who is this? was her name Annie? Yeah, Strom says the scammer always pretends to be a young East Asian woman with a lot of plastic surgery work. And they always address you by a woman's name. I don't know why that is. But it's also scary because, as someone's saying there, Lola Fortune says her dad got caught in one of these scams. If you're an older person, like my own father, that's kind of longing for connection, and you get these text messages and you're not really hip to the fact that this could be a scam because it doesn't feel like a scam, right? You're used to maybe someone's going to telemarket, or maybe you're going to get some email. Maybe you know about that, but the text message feels a little more personal for a lot of people. Because I think Jason's beta testing this. Not. That's Alfie. You got the wrong one. He wrote a whole book about it. So I fucked a robot the other day, and it was. You got to get some WD-40 in there. You scratch up the old crank. I hope Alfie doesn't watch this episode.
He's gonna be like, first of all, I'm not Australian.
He's gonna be like, first of all, I'm not Cockney, goddamn.
First of all, I'm not Dick Van Dyke.
Alfie's just a dirty ass chimney sweep.
Chimney Sweep Alfie. New character just dropped.
Gene can do Rhodesian Alfie. But seriously, those phishing texts are frighteningly problematic. And, you know, some people get blackmailed in them because it's like, hey, look here, I'll send you a nude. And it's a fake nude. And then you send them your ding dong. And they're like, if you don't give me X amount of dollars, I'm going to send this ding dong picture of you to all your friends. Which wouldn't stop me at all. Like, you can show it to them, I don't care. They've probably seen it at some point.
Dad bod, small rod.
Wow.
Wow.
This is Tucson every morning.
We coming for you, nigga.
Every morning. She just wakes up like Rocky. Da-da-da.
Steve's like, send it, bitch. I was like, damn, Steve, why you so eager to see it?
Eric says, Jesus, MT.
Dad bod, small rod. Gosh, you got the comebacks today.
Coach Luke says Jason's gonna text all the patrons with a real up close picture, so it just looks massive. Like, is it a sandworm from Dune or my junk?
Don't pantomime that.
We got a call.
We got a call.
Dun, 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 dun. Are you ready? Are you ready?
Are you ready?
Pascal, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Calling from a 216 area code. Where are you calling from? Who are you?
Oh, you know what helps when I push the call? Well, you push the call through.
I pushed the call through.
Okay.
Caller, calling from a 216 area code. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
The caller is probably reading these fucked up comments about me with a little dick trying to take pictures of it. Did the caller is the caller muted?
Caller.
Yes.
Oh,
This is Dr. Paul calling from Cleveland, Ohio.
it's Dr. Claw.
Dr. Claw.
I wish we had music we could play because I would play Atomic Dog every time Dr. Claw calls.
Okay.
Doesn't that seem
That's a
appropriate?
good song.
Right? That's a great.
song.
That's like Dr. Claw comes on and why must I be like that? And then just every time he calls, wow, 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 yippee yo, yippee yay. All right, I'll shut up.
Yes, that would actually be excellent. Salutations, Jason, Pascal, MT. I hope that the deep state doesn't catch me this time because I think I'll get a chance to kind of expand on the comment I made earlier. Absolutely, I see commodification and loneliness in so many different ways. Dating apps. I haven't heard about the friendship apps, but I can definitely see those existing. I even think some of the, maybe not this one, but other podcasts kind of being part of that.
Mhm.
At least they're blamed for that. At least they're blamed for that when something bad happens. All of these things, these latest phenomena kind of come into play as people become more atomized under the neoliberal order. Like the goal is to push everybody into their own little silo that they can mine for data and mine for money, and they have them hooked up to some kind of rent-seeking whatever. that's kind of how I see a lot of how things operate today. And COVID was the worst thing that happened in that regard, because now you're going to start pushing out even more people who are conscious of their health, meeting up with people in regular spaces. I'll even tell you myself, these last 4 years have been like horrific in that regard, as you try to dodge a moving target, like, each day you exist. So, there's a lot of things to just, and I hadn't thought about something else too, like, all of the ways that all the housing crisis, kind of ties into this, where like, it's becoming so expensive to live. People have to move out to other places where they don't know people, or worse. And it's just kind of like, it's a game of survival for a lot of people. And of course, the financial services powers that be are trying to mine as much money and squeeze as much blood out of this rock as possible. I thought a little bit, the last time we had a topic about dating and dating apps and things like that, and I can tell you, I tried it once, hopped out because I didn't like how impersonal and kind of I don't know what the word is. It's kind of like codifying a certain way, like a certain selection theory. And knowing myself, I know that people who've been interested in me are usually people who see me in person, or get to hear me speak about a certain topic, or any topic. And I'll just catch people out of the blue. And you mentioned the thing about wearing the band tees and stuff. I can tell you, a lot of the conversations I get into is over something that I'm wearing, and it's usually like, this is going to sound extremely ironic. I was in a bar back in my hometown, Jamestown, New York, years ago. Not years ago, like, a few, right before the before times, that's when COVID pandemic started. And I was wearing a one of those Tyler the Creator Golf Wang branded hoodies.
Mm-hmm.
I've worn it before and got comments about it. And I was just in the bar, and this girl that was like sitting to like those two stools down, like kind of pointed out when we just started talking about stuff. Now, it turns out that she had a friend that lived in the town, and she was from not too far where I live in Ohio. I imagine that was kind of annoying her boyfriend, who was sitting in between us because we were talking so long about the topic. And every time I've worn something like that, like I went to Memphis one time and at the checkout, and girl saw what I was wearing, and we started talking about rap music and all this other stuff. And it's usually I wear stuff like I wear graphic tees. Sometimes it's things that people recognize. Maybe a high waist shield, maybe the logo of a store, like a retail store from long ago. And there was always be a conversation. Like, there'll be a conversation. I was just in the Lowe's a couple of days ago, and I was wearing one of them shirts, and somebody's like, "Oh, I recognize that," and we just started talking for for a few minutes. So that's kind of like, those are the kind of like the ways that I end up interacting with people and actually making meaningful connections with them. It usually starts with something like that. On the internet, not in the dating app setting, because you know what you're there for. And that ain't really how I get down or ever gotten down. But on other internet groups, if you're around the right people, you can definitely connect with people in a more meaningful way and do that. And it's not being commodified and all this other stuff. But I don't know how prevalent that is now in this day of hyper everything. And I don't know what to think about it, but other than like, if there's a way for these folks to make money off of you, they're going to do it. They're going to do it. And, it's unfortunate, man. I don't know what y'all think.
I think you're onto something with, even what we do here is kind of part of that commodification, in the sense of there's people that are tuned into these shows maybe a little too deeply, because even watching it becomes political, and we're in this moment of like hyper politics. So we're kind of hyper focused on everything. And that is going to make it hard for you to adjust to the outside world, because these shows kind of exist in a bit of a silo, right? Not too many people give that much of a damn about Jordan Peterson, or I don't know what do we talk about on this show, Pascal? The failure of Black Power. Maybe that's not a good talking point at the bar.
No, because there's lots of people who care about that.
I guess in your circle, but I don't know too many bars I can go to. And
Well, I mean, you actually, let me correct that. You're right. Most people don't care about that, but everything is so siloed that it's like clubs.
Yeah.
Some people are in your politics club. Some people are in your black actor. Perfect example. You remember when the quote unquote conscious community was a scene where people like Umar Johnson, Terry Rashid, and the whole kind of like the whole hoteps and all of that was like there was like a whole dudes who like talk about like Egyptology and the African origins of.
But is that guy fucking though?
Ooh.
Tell me, they're all women who are into that.
I see a crown, Queen. I see your crown.
Like, would that dry you out, Toussaint? If some dude was
Toussaint's not gonna be into that.
Like Toussaint, like seriously, if some dude was like, "You don't drink water, you eat water," like, would you be like, "Look,
listen, she's not gonna be into the Dr. Sebi ass kind of like
Dr. Sebi,
freaking Egyptian dust, Egyptian musk."
What if I just want to talk about Egyptian Lover's first record? Will anybody want to hear that? No.
But there's a scene, there's a crew for that world, and the point I'm trying to convey is that you'd be surprised how many cliques there are. Listen, if you can get a motorcycle like club clique, you can guys. Those guys have women who circulate around them just because of the hogs they ride or whatever, their bikes or whatever they call them, man. It exists, man. People can create social spheres around all kinds of minutia and gather energy around them. So the point I'm trying to say is that yes, there is loneliness, and I think that we're in a world where it's harder to do that. But let's not diminish the fact that there at least up until recently in the internet, there were spaces where people existed, where there were people who, some of them were shysters.
I mean, Dr. Claus over here talking about wearing a Sears T-shirt and meeting people. Is there a place I can go, Dr. Claus, where I can put this Wham T-shirt on and get some action?
Britain, go to England.
I don't know, but this interchange reminded me of a semi-embarrassing story that has a lot of antecedents in my life, and it's just one of those strange Forrest Gumpish things that like tends to happen to me. So the context is when I was a student in college at a place that Strong Callan knows quite well in Charleston, South Carolina. Was a long-haired hooligan, a little bit, animated type of dude, but not really a talkative type of dude, except one day when they had this event at the college where it's basically a soapbox. They put a microphone up there and you get in line and you get to say whatever you want. So I got up there and I was basically cutting a promo on, probably had something to do with George W. Bush. Like, it was just like, watching WWE Raw and be like, The Rock says this jabroni here is eating all of the poop up there in Washington and he can just stick it up his candy ass, and saying stuff like that. And it kind of got me a little bit of notoriety on campus. And all of a sudden people started coming up to me and started asking me questions about who I was and all this other stuff. But you fast forward a couple of years later, and I'm out of college, but I'm still working thereabouts. And I'm hanging out with the little group of friends I met in the Japanese class that they have like 1 day a week, they have a conversation hour where they speak the language, so they can learn how to speak it and get familiar with speaking it. And there's usually like a international student in there in the mix. And as I was waiting after work for it to start, this woman comes up, and she was sitting there, and she like called out to me, and she was a beautiful woman, like, but I'd never seen her in my life. And she asked me, "Hey," and then here's another context. At that point, the long-haired hooligan days over. I cut my hair, I cleaned up, the facial hair and all this other stuff. I'm looking a little bit more respectable and talking a little bit more respectable. And she still recognized me. And, well, she recognized me even from that point. And she said, "Hey, aren't you the guy who did da-da-da-da? Yeah, I know that's me." And she said, "Hey, did you also speak Japanese and all this other stuff?" And I'm like, "Yeah." I didn't know how she knew that, because she wasn't in my classes. Like I said, I'd never seen it before. And there was one part of me where I was like, I didn't know how to respond to that. So I kind of like, said, something cordial, put on my best OJ voice. It's like, "Hey, how's it going?" And, all this other stuff. And I just didn't know what to do with that. And it's like, I have a fangirl, but I'm just not, right? And I go back and forth and thinking that was a fumble or a massive fumble, go through other alternate scenarios if I had just followed through with that. But something about somebody knowing that much about you when you're not even that kind of a public person, like this wasn't the internet. I was like, "Boy, I'll tell you what, yeah." So I say that because, sometimes, you get some like, you never know who's interested in you and how.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of one of the things that kind of always stood out to me. It was just one of those moments where I was like, man, nowadays, I really wonder how that would have gone over differently, because, I came back and I talked to my old professors, and they told me things have changed so much. There's so many students in those classes and so many people doing all this other stuff that, we were kind of like the cutting edge when he first started coming in there. It's, man, I will tell you this. I always relish being able to meet people in person. Sometimes it's antisocial as I am. If I know we're on the same page, I have no problem meeting people in person. Just go up and talk to them. If at least like Pascal was talking about, you're in the right crew. You get to talk about the things that interest you and ain't like seen as weird. Like I go, well, there's the people who've known me for years, and we get together at a holiday dinner. So we will talk about like some of the stuff we talk about in the show. I've introduced them to the term "fat back and biscuits," and so we can talk about that kind of stuff. But you never know like how safe you are in a lot of situations. You're always looking over your faculty. If you say the wrong thing, even in meet spaces, they'll point you out and say, "Hey, you said that wrong thing. We're gonna get you. You're going to jail. You're going to jail now." But that's legal bus driver. I don't want to be in that situation. I apologize for rambling so much, but this is a topic that really interests me, especially nowadays, especially with like everything that has been going on, especially these last 4 years, everything that is going on right today, where there's so much tension over the things you do, the things you say, the things you see in public. People are really starting to pick up on how much they're being surveilled, even on a low level. It is bizarre, and it's a hard thing it's a thing you have to be like cognizant of and like actually try to resist. I sometimes pat myself on the back when some of my forced ads and things like Gmail and stuff like that ain't even close to what I am interested in.
Mm-hmm.
But go on YouTube, and I think they figured me out. But they go on Instagram, they really figured me out over there.
No, I feel you on
really
that.
figured me
I
out
feel
over
you on
there.
that.
It's like, if it, they'll show me Volvos, they'll show me music artists I like, they'll show me midget games every now and then, and they'll show me some other things that are pleasing to my eye. And they're actually really good with the ads, strangely enough. Like they'll send you like the ads you get served on that specific app more than any one. It seems the most relevant to me. Like something as simple as, you know what, this toilet brush looks like it's actually be better used, better one than I'm using right now. Let me go find out where I can get that. Oh, I like this fitted cap. Let me try and get this. Or, you know, maybe I can use these things in a sampler to dig this kind of music. Oh, okay. I can't play nothing, but you know what I'm saying? Like Instagram is actually pretty good at that. But man, I have noticed on that app, you know, other than other ones, I think they really go hard at the whole loneliness thing.
Yes.
And you know, you know, and shout out to Dizzle McFizzle, because another thing that you were saying made me think that something he would say is like, you know, talking about you know, some of the things Pascal was talking about at the bar, and it's like, yeah, that's crime scaring the hoes, Tom. You know, that you know, that's another accusation you get in some of these places, man. It's I feel like it's a lot more landmines than there used to be. You know, like in the before times, even in the old internet times, it's a lot more landmines now because so many of people's inner thoughts are exposed in ways they were never exposed. One thing you said, Jason, that I really felt when you were talking about, you know, dating people, and you were like, you liked it more when somebody was apolitical or like apathetic to, you know, political stuff, rather than, you know, a lib or somebody who would be more on the liberal side or really deeply invested in, you know, the liberal stuff. And I felt that a few years ago, maybe in the 2010s, I may not have agreed with that. Now, absolutely. Because some of the stuff that comes out of these people's mouths, especially now, makes me turn right into Dick Gregory. You know, sometimes I just hear him say some of this stuff. It ain't nothing but doo-doo in there. See, you know, you don't get it. It's doo-doo. You know, like to just start saying stuff like this and like, you don't know what you're talking about, huh? You know, and I don't want to deal with that in my leisure time. I really don't. Like,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I can't
so
speak.
I really felt that comment.
I won't speak for the people on the screen, but I definitely, in my free time, don't like to talk about anything we've talked about on air. I'd rather talk about the differences between Van Halen 1984, and 5150. I'd much rather talk about that for an hour and a half than, you know, the plight of the unhoused in Chicago.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You know,
like if we have those conversations, that means I have a high level of trust in the person on the other end.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Randos, I don't want to talk about that stuff. They'll probably say something to piss you off.
Well, they might say something to piss you off, and then, you know, also it's what I spend too much of my time on while I'm awake. So if I walk away from the screen and actually interact with a human being, which is, I'll be honest, about this loneliness, I'll put myself on the spot. My life is spent in front of this screen, talking to people that I don't get to see in real life, or in another room in front of a screen, looking at the people on the screen talk to people that they don't get to see in real life, editing stuff or writing or reading. And I have to get PDFs because where I live, it takes too long to get books mailed, considering when the shows are. So, you know, I'm sure a lot of people have lives like that where they're working either multiple jobs or 50 to 60 hours a week at one job. If you do get free time, generally the first thing we do is then sit in front of another screen, be it our television, our computer, our phone, and dick around. It's like, dude, I really cherish the moments I have aimlessly walking around in this city that I live in, or sometimes I take the bus by myself to Tijuana and just walk around aimlessly there as well, because I just kind of want to get away from a screen and meet people in real life. Wacky.
But yet now people are demanding that you go to another screen to be able to find the right people to meet.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't want to. I'll find the right people as I'm just walking fucking around. I guess, you know. Oh, you like tacos? I like tacos. That's an interesting taco that you got.
Let's not.
Wow.
Let's not talk about the taco meat.
Hey, it's covered today. You're lucky. People are lucky. But Claw, is there anything else you want to get at? Because we have one more call we want to get before the hour's over.
Yeah, I just want to thank y'all for letting me ramble tonight. This is a great topic. I'm curious to see what other people think about it. It's one near and dear to my heart, like for real. Like I ain't gonna, like I said, especially these last 4 years. Any chance I get to actually go out and do something that is not revolved around over running errands, buying groceries, and spending too much bloody money on it, or anything like that, is cherished. Like that was like I would take, you know, when I had the opportunity to take vacations, I would just go back, like I said, to my hometown, to the place I used to live, or some new city, and just hang out for a weekend, just act like a regular person in another city that I don't live in, and come back home and just feel like, that's it. This is the way things should be. I got the story to tell, but yeah, thank you.
Oh, no problem.
Appreciate y'all for putting this. This is a great topic.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Have a good night. I mean, I didn't want to open up the phone lines, and then I hit up Tucson right before we went on air, and I was like, Tucson, I think I'm going to open up the phone lines. I was going to do the show alone, you know, kind of add to the loneliness, just do it alone, open the phone lines, let you guys, we all hang together. Tucson's like, get me all right up, I'm not going to do the show. Sorry.
We have a couple of super chats to get through real quick.
Okay.
All right, let me go in here.
We need a Norman Finkelstein dating app reality show. Okay, Strom and everybody listening and watching. Weekly, I get an update from YouTube. And Pascal, do you want to know what YouTube told me is our most searched video?
What is that?
Guess.
Norman Finkelstein?
Guess which one?
The first one?
No.
Which one?
The gooning clip.
Oh, God.
The gooning clip is the most searched video. And at this point, it is our most viewed video. Gooning in general was the #1 search. And since gooning's in the title of that video, as a joke, is gooning the pathway to fascism? If you think anyone on this show was serious when that clip was made, then you are sadly mistaken, #1. And #2, go buy a sense of humor. Go find an app for a sense of humor. You might actually qualify for a sense of humor app. The most viewed and searched is gooning. If that don't speak to loneliness, I don't know what does. Damn, I didn't know you guys would get quiet like that. It depressed the shit out of you too, Tucson. Like all the work that's put into these shows, all the reading, the thought behind it, and it's like nobody gives a shit what you say. Get us the goon guy again.
Make the old guy say something funny again.
Yeah, he doesn't fuck with us anymore. We're too small time.
Oh,
That's not true. He never said that. I made that up.
he wubs us.
Yeah. Should I call in with my Pog Chaser MLK impression, or is that going to be racist? Y'all let me know. I don't want to demonetize the stream too early. Well, I'm still shocked at what streams get demonetized. #1. #2, it's never too early for Pog Chaser MLK. #3, there's always room for Pog Chaser MLK. Always. Someone said more grooming, less gooning.
Fickleston plays Luther Vandross and burns patchouli inside. Hebrew Israelites.
Angry Hebrew Israelites. Okay, real talk. The Israelites left a voicemail the other day.
They went on the show. They do.
They went on the show. They went on the show bad.
Oh, you gotta be sure.
No, I don't know how to joke like that. I do know how to joke like that, but I'm not good at it.
Are you serious?
As a fucking heart attack. Yes. I don't have the heart to be like, dude, it's not going to be good if you come on. Like, we're not going to be like, yeah, that's right. It's old
Yeah, that makes
all the
sense.
time. Yeah, you know, yeah. White devil. Yeah. Shakespeare was black. I get it. Like, I can't do it, dude. I can't. Like, there's a certain amount of like, like, you know, again, I live my life not around a bunch of philosophers. I see Ben Burgess every so often. You know what I mean? I was at his birthday party. We weren't all sitting around talking about Gramsci. We were bowling, talking shit like normal people do. But, you know, I don't know if I could fucking sit there and shoot the shit with. It's, you know what it is? It's when they wear the Wonder Man, the Wonder Woman, like bracelets.
Bracelets.
It's too much. It's too much. I can't. I mean, would you want to do a show with them, Pascal?
No.
Okay.
Hell no.
No.
Okay. That's okay. So I'm right then to just be like, oh.
Do they like raisin carrot cake?
Someone said the Wakanda pajamas is always the turn off for Jason.
My little son, none of my children have Wakanda pajamas. No Wakanda jammies.
That's good.
I actually my friend Shaka Kani sells clothes at the used clothes at the flea market, and I'm giving her my vintage looking Black Panther tee. It's just my hair. It's gonna be awesome seeing some little Mexican kid running around with it. Negro futurism. All right, Toussaint, you want to push the next call through?
I do. Calling from an 843 area code. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Can you hear me, brother Jason Myles?
Dr.
Me,
King.
Oh, Chaser MLK.
Oh my God, we got Dr. King on the phone, everybody.
I took a break from my marathon of gooning to call into the show and talk about how I want to reach the promised land. That's what I call my penis. I want to fly between them white cheeks. Did you know that broccoli was man-made? Did you know, brother Jason, that we used to be kings? I've seen the mountaintop, and I've been to the promised land, and it's white. And it's
Pascal is just looking at his frat brothers. Just he's just seeing, all he sees is his entire. It's okay, Pascal. You didn't go to a black college. You didn't go to Howard. You're fine.
This is hilarious.
I'm sorry.
Oh.
I had to try it. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, please don't be.
Terrible.
No, please don't be. I'm so happy that the ridiculousness of this show has worn off on the people that watch this show and appreciate the fact that I put myself on the line
And
in
create
front
a
of all those
conversation
black
between-
Israelites and
create a
negotiated
conversation
Martin
on
Luther King fucking a white woman.
Dude, okay, so there are black Israelites in Milwaukee.
I believe it. I believe it. I believe it. I believe
Like
that.
they are out, and it's I don't know what it's like in Jamaican Queens, but like
Jamaican
tell
Queen.
me if or M. Toussaint can like confirm if this is black Israelite behavior, because she was close to them. I can't hear Pascal at all.
Oh, you can't. Oh, I got Pascal turned all the way up
I can't hear him.
because he's talking away from the microphone.
I haven't said anything.
I guess so.
Pull the mic
And I
closer.
can barely hear M. Toussaint.
I got everybody cranked as high as it can go.
So basically, right, they sit on the corner on Brady Street and they yell at people
Yes.
in like the dashikis,
Mhm.
like they're wearing Goku outfits. Basically, like they all have, like Piccolo. And, like,
Yes.
they're just yelling at people.
Yes. I love it. I love it.
They're talking about, and what's funny is that when they're yelling, they have like a kiosk that is a pop-up kiosk from like a roller bag, basically, and it has a bunch of brochures, and they're trying to get people to like donate money. So they have like a bunch of QR codes and stuff like that, and they want people to buy CMOS.
I'm sorry. They want people to buy what? Quinoa?
CMOS.
Sea moss?
No, CMOS.
Sea moss.
Like sea as in the ocean,
Yeah.
moss as in.
moss.
I'm like
Like
I don't
cake
know
moss.
what that is. Like, yeah, I walked past them and they just started yelling at me. I was just like, okay. Like I was literally on my headphones, like, take your headphones off. And I'm like,
Oh,
I took
wow.
off my headphones. I looked over, like, what are y'all yelling about? Like, broccoli's man-made. I'm like, I don't know. You know what? I'm just leaving. And it was fucked up because, like, they're yelling. I thought they were yelling at me, but apparently they're yelling at a homeless guy that was in front of me.
Oh.
So I just took off my headphones, like, what the fuck? And, like, they were just yelling at this dude, and this dude was yelling right back at them. It was crazy.
I wish that's the one time in my life where I'm gonna say, man, I wish I was in Milwaukee.
Yeah. It was crazy. And, like, they always do it, like, it's weird. They do it in weird times of the day. Like, they'll do it, like, on a Saturday when it's raining at, like, 9 a.m. And they're just out there for a couple of hours, and then they'll just leave because they're in front of the Walgreens on Brady Street. And the Walgreens would tell them to leave because they have a PA. Like, they'll have, like, one of those, like, battery-powered, like, karaoke machines.
Yes.
And they're just yelling.
Just yelling at people. Broccoli is man-made is something I've never heard, and I love it. By the way, man-made broccoli.
Is that some new thing or what?
I was like, what?
I've
what are
heard
you
it.
talking about?
I watched a whole video where we're gonna play it in the champagne room where this Negro says that water. I think we played it before. He says that water is you're not supposed to drink water. Only four-legged animals drink water.
What?
Yeah,
I've heard that one.
yeah.
And because you don't drink water, you eat water.
You eat
through
water.
fruit.
Yeah, you eat water through fruit. Yeah. There's some ignorant
Which
shit out there. The funniest shit on that Dizzle. Did I send that to you? Did I send that video to you? Because the dude, one of the first comment on that video said, "Hey, some chick called this dude thirsty, and he went and bought podcast mics."
Oh my god. Yeah. But like that's it. I was exposed to this stuff before I moved to Milwaukee. Like I got exposed to it when I went to college because I went to South Carolina State University. So I went to an HBCU. And I was exposed to like all kinds of, I didn't know what a HOTEP was until I got to South Carolina State University. I was like, what?
Wait, where are you from? Are you from Milwaukee?
Like
You from
this-
Wisconsin?
I'm from Carolina.
You're from Carolina.
Yeah, I'm from South Carolina.
You're from South
I
Carolina,
moved up here for a job.
and you moved to Milwaukee. You went
Yep.
from the South to the most segregated city in America.
Yeah.
Oof, I hope it's a good job.
Hey, it's an engineering job. You pay a lot of money.
Well, and you live in Milwaukee, where the life is a little cheaper.
Yeah, it's profoundly cheaper than Charleston, because I'm from Charleston, South Carolina. So that's just as segregated as Milwaukee is.
Who has more
But it's a
Confederate
little bit more
flags?
segregated, actually.
Who has more Confederate flags, Milwaukee or South Carolina?
South Carolina.
Okay, you said that quick, so I believe you live in a good part of
Yeah.
Milwaukee.
Yeah. Well, I live in a not bad. There isn't that many like Confederate flags like here in Wisconsin. You know, you have to remember these people descended from the people that marched into the South and set fire to Columbia. So, you know, but Charleston, they're still like, I remember being in school in Charleston and learning about the Civil War, and it wasn't called the Civil War. It was called the War of Northern Aggression.
Jesus Christ.
I shit
Jesus
you not.
Christ.
There was a thin book called South Carolina History, and it was like a pamphlet, basically. It was like 50 pages. And basically, they didn't talk about slavery. They talked about 4 people, like John C. Calhoun, the guy that he's based on. I obviously slept through this in history class. The guy that was based, Mel Gibson's character in The Patriot was based on. He was an actual dude, Francis Marion, like that dude.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was 2 other guys, Strom Thurmond for being the oldest living senator.
Wow.
And Tim Scott, I think. Not even Tim Scott, because he wasn't it was Clyburn. Jim Clyburn was in that book, and he had like a page.
That book sounds like it's one of those books.
No mention of slavery.
No mention of
as,
slavery.
Yeah, they described the slave triangle as forced immigration from West Africa.
Wow.
Wow.
And it was written by the Daughters of the Confederacy.
I just want you guys to know, I was having a conversation with Bert Cooper about this, how certain states they don't have big budgets. So when a larger state around them, let's say Florida, changes their history books, all these other states get those same history books. And so that's why people really complain when somewhere like Florida goes, oh, we're going to add this to the history book. We're going to add this addendum in the science book that says, by the way, God created the world. There's a reason why U.S. education is trash, and you're hearing it on the show right now, firsthand.
Oh yeah, like South Carolina gets their books from Texas.
Yep.
Like we get our history books from Texas.
So the bigger states supply smaller population states with curriculum because they buy in bulk.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah, it was crazy growing up in the South. It was insane. Like it was just nuts. I was like, I don't know what to do. I hated that place. Like every day I wake up in Milwaukee and I pray that South Carolina has fallen to the ocean.
Wow.
Like if it separates the United States and just jumps into the Atlantic, I'm like, please God. Like I hate this place so much. Spent 30 years there.
Well, we can't have South Carolina fall off because Strom will die. And that's not okay.
Fair enough.
Dizzle, thank you for the call. Will you be joining us in the champagne room?
You know it.
Okay, I have special POG videos for Pascal. Thank you, Dizzle. AKA POG Chaser MLK. Dizzle McFizzle. We have one final call. Pascal Robert, will you be joining us for a hot minute in the champagne room? Because I literally put videos aside for you.
Surely.
Tucson, did you see those videos? I sent you 1 or 2, right?
You sent me a million.
I did, but one I actually said this is for Pascal.
Okay, I did see that one. I didn't see it.
Okay, that's all.
I saw.
That's all that matters.
Okay.
Is that the Pascal video is queued up and ready? There's a bunch, dude. We got so much good stuff. Thank you guys for hanging out with us.
We have one last caller.
I know. Can I say the thank yous before the call?
Okay, I didn't know.
Wow. You know what? I can't even say the thank yous now. I can't even do it.
This is
See, this is why people. This is why you're alone.
oh my gosh, that is so
It's not nice when someone cracks wise.
That is so mean. I'm
You said
sorry.
I had a little penis.
Small rods.
You said I had, and that was like the 18th time you said I had a little penis.
Oh my god, so funny.
You got me questioning myself before I have relations with a woman. You've never seen the show, right?
On. You're the lead singer of a band. He's the lead singer. Oh my gosh.
And then I hit him with this.
Because I nut quick.
Bam.
Nice.
It's a race.
It's a race.
Look. Now there's going to be there's so many comments about raisins.
Yeah.
Fuck. This is just, I'm really.
You said that's the woman's problem, not yours. Oh,
You be having a lot of gems. A lot of gems there, Steve.
Oh, dude, they said fun size penis. Wow. My feelings would be hurt if a woman said, "Oh, it's fun size."
It's the size for fun.
I'd cry.
Fun size.
she ain't got to worry about you say, "Oh, Alabama black steak."
I got to pull it out like a little kid trying to do a magic trick. Ta-da!
Nice. Women love that.
We said women love that.
Yeah,
Women love when you treat your junk like a magic trick.
especially presenting it like a little kid. That's the best time.
I thought they liked it when you show it to them like this, and then you go, "What's that behind your ear?"
Oh my god. Oh my god.
No.
What's that behind your ear? So many quarters.
So this is our final caller of the evening.
Yes.
Oh, Pascal Dizzle McFizzle's asking if you want a Guerrilla Communism shirt.
Oh, interesting. Sounds good.
2X.
2X, yeah, that'll fit on my arm.
All right, last caller. You want to push it through, MT?
Caller has been pushed. Calling from a 559 area code. Caller, who are you? Where are you calling from?
Well, who are any of us really? But then I'm calling from somewhere, but I am indoors.
Is this Eric?
It is indeed, and just after Claw and Dizzle, man, it might be just time to go to the champagne room because the only thing I can offer is maybe a very poor Norm Finkelstein impression. But
I'm here for it.
Oh no, Jason, Jason. You have to understand one thing, Jason. Now, I've read all the books. I've very carefully, and I choose my words very carefully because they're very important. Now, what I want you to understand, Jason, is There's nothing quite like a little junk in the trunk. That's about all I got.
That sounds like Norm Finkelstein. That's some Norm Finkelstein. You know, I thought you were going to go with the pronoun joke, and you went safe, so that's smart.
Yes.
But you know, I definitely love fucking with Norm, and I've been talking with Sublation and our booking agent about going back to New York and doing some stuff, and Norm will most likely be there, and I will definitely make sure to make fun of him in real life. Can't wait.
I think he requires you. There's an unwritten, gentleman's agreement that he has with everybody, right?
He has at least with me. I can't speak for.
Oh yeah, I think if I did it, he'd probably punch me in the face.
He might not be thrilled. He might not be thrilled. He does laugh when I do it. But Tucson, you were there for. I think you have pictures of that.
That's all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Tucson's got pictures of it. Yeah, it was fun. You got to come out for that. You got to find a way. Find a way, Eric.
No, I think I'm halfway there. Over in Minneapolis. So just might not be too bad. So yeah, man.
You got to find a way. How do you feel about this loneliness discussion, Eric?
Very relevant and timely in the fact, I'll add a couple things real quick just because it made me think of what the story that Claw gave, some of the stuff, boy, just I think I'll have some stories like that in some degree. But then, I think one of the things now anymore is people have justifications for being lonely, or they'll have a defense, and they'll have it's almost like a weaponization of loneliness. And then there's a whole industry around keeping you lonely, because then when you are, quote unquote, depending, variations, but you need things. Well, we need to fill that void. Well, what do we fill it with? Well, we fill it with activities or things or, any number of stuff. And well, that certainly makes somebody money, whether it's, Etsy or, the corporate or whatever. But then, what does that leave just interpersonal? I mean, I think that, no pun intended, but it's like any other tool. It can be used to build houses or used to bash someone's brains in the sense that hey, what was going out and meeting somebody in a bar or in a store? Is it any different? Is that the real person? Are you seeing them how they truly are? Same thing with online, the online dating, and I think it's just kind of accentuating people's potential negatives, and then there's always that kernel of truth in, well, you know what? They just couldn't put up with my bullshit, so I'm going to off and on, onward and upward. Should you maybe change it? Well, again, that's kind of like a personal thing, but, I think that's starting to be, oh, no, don't worry about that. You're right. You are correct. And that's just kind of the thing that I see as kind of sad, where for some reason now, I think you're just a bit older than I am. But it's like, our generation came up seeing the difference. Like, we knew a time before all this, and we saw how people operated, and then would see how people were starting to operate and how it was changing and why it was changing. And so now, if you paid enough attention, well, you can at least operate a little bit more effectively and then see what the deal is. But, now it's like, oh no, hey, because there's more money to be made and having people fight. Keeping them lonely.
That is sad but true. Very sad but true. Will you be joining us in the champagne room?
Oh, you got it.
Good times. Thank you very much for the call, Eric. Have a very good night.
Hey, you guys have a good one.
See you in a little bit. Thank you to everyone that called in. Thank you to the super chats. Thank you for all you guys watching on Twitter, on Twitch, on YouTube. We truly appreciate it. If you want to join us in the champagne room, that's very easy. Go to patreon.com/bitterlakepresents. And for $3 a month or $30 for the year, you can have access to champagne rooms past and present. You can join us for movie night. You get the audio only podcast a day early. If you are listening to this show on Apple, just subscribe, and you can have access as well to these champagne rooms and hang out with us for the insanity. Tomorrow night, Pascal Robert will be here with the one and only Daniel Besner. What will you guys be discussing, Pascal?
The uselessness of hyperpolitics and mass disturbance in the modern age.
Ooh, which is something I've been all about with Vincent Bevan's book. Chris Catrone talks about it a little bit. Definitely Alex Aculi and I talked about it because of the series of articles that he's written on it. And our friend Anton Yeager has a book that came out, I think, late last year that also talks about this moment that just passed in the 2010s where we had more protests than any other time in history globally, but nothing really came of it. And here we are again. There's a big protest movement going on in the colleges. Is that making any sort of political headway? The question. And Besner will be back on to talk with me about his piece on Hollywood, which I finally read and really enjoyed. So we love talking to Danny. I'm glad he made time for us as he's a big superstar. Bill Maher guest, Danny Besner. I said, you want to talk with Pascal? He said, anytime. So I look forward to that. That's going to be a good show. Toussaint, do you have anything you want to say before we go out? I
too am excited for Besner. Double Besners.
Someone said Besner is the Besner.
Left is Besner.
Left is Besner. Pascal, do you have anything to say on the way out?
Looking forward to the Besner episode. Looking forward to this weekend with Bill Fletcher.
Oh, that's right.
Looking forward to our show in DC. Got to get ready for that. And got to get ready for tomorrow night. Got to get looking forward to the champagne room because you got some gifts for me.
That I do. And of course, they'll be ridiculous. We have some videos. We have some nonsense. If you guys watch this main show, how do you feel? Are we making too much of a big deal of loneliness? Are you just fine with your dating apps and phishing texts? Do you think it's a problem? Do you also long for real life communal relations, but you can't get away from the screen? Oh, I forgot to hang up the phone, and I just paid an extra $4. God damn. Oh, when you see the money deplete, Toussaint.
I just noticed.
That's what gets me. Also, if you guys are curious about what goes on in the champagne room, there's a free tier that we have for Patreon. If you want to try it out, try on the shoes before you buy them. Someone told me it's like getting laid on the first date.
Oh.
Is that great? Is that great? And on that note, I look forward to seeing all the dad bod small rod jokes, Toussaint. Thank you very much. Just trying to ruin it. Just ruining it with the ladies. Oh, that's sad. Steve said for the phone. Thank you so much for the super chat on the way out, Steve. We'll see you in the champagne room as well. And on that note, we are
out.